A lot of these irons were over £900 6 months ago. Fast forward to present day, a lot of them aren't even going for half of that. So what's going on and how can you take advantage of that? Today we are going to break down 3 of the most ultra forgiving irons that are starting to flood the market. More importantly, which one of these is going to be the best for you if you're looking to upgrade your irons and get ultra forgiveness and distance at the same time. Not to mention, discuss the elephant in the room. Why are these so volatile? And if you're starting the game and thinking about buying these brand new, that could be considered a costly mistake. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Simon here at SS Golf Academy. Let's discuss ultra forgiving irons, beginner irons, de-lofted irons, powerful irons. This is one of my choices through this list that I've seen drop a lot in price, especially when it comes to the secondhand market. But also why this particular iron gets panic sold more than most. Not just this one, my other 2 options, especially my last one. Because even though all these irons came out at virtually the same time with similar retail prices, why do some hold their value better than others? And how can you take advantage of that? The first obvious reason, just like my other 2, is that these age themselves quicker. Because beginner irons typically share the same model logo as the driver of that year, so obviously the AI Smoke driver came out at the same time these AI Smoke HL irons came out. On a shop floor, retail store, online shop, a lot of the general public know that this is, well, old hat. Whereas you compare it to Titleist, for example, and one of the clever things that they do with, let's say, their T400 or T350 heads that would be similar to this for this similar kind of golfer, is that they're not tied to a driver. There isn't such a thing as a GT iron, for example. They have their same bracket. Not to mention, Titleist has 2-year cycles with their irons. The second reason, and what all 3 of my options today share, is that these are obviously on 1-year cycles, and a lot of these irons will be demanded to be in a pre-book. So if you want to sell Callaway that year, fit it that year, you'll probably have to buy a certain amount of AI Smoke HL irons to sit on the shelf. Which ties in very nicely to reason number 1 in this list, is that if you have a shop, a pro shop, and these are still sitting on the shelf come April, March, February, well, as the general public walks through your shop, it's very evident that these are last year's model, and if you want to get the most for them, you need to offload them sooner rather than later. Hence why you'll see so many of these irons through the list on eBay in brand new wrappers, have never been hit, and that is old stock from retailers, old stock from pro shops, old stock from people that would have tried to sell them last year. The third and arguably the most important reason why we see such a high turnover of this particular head style, no matter what brand it is that typically this is fitted into a beginner golfer. A beginner golfer that's going to improve rather quickly, especially with a few lessons. And just like a lot of these forgiving irons I'm about to show you, they're powerful, not controllable. And after a year of grinding, quite a few lessons, more than likely get told that they need to upgrade to something more like this. And that this particular head style, controlling, not as forgiving, certainly not as powerful, will last them 5 to 6 years. Which means not only are shops trying to get rid of this iron, some people that bought this last year brand new for around £900 probably are looking to get rid of it as well so that they can go to a head style a bit more like this. And because we know how important technique really is in terms of getting longer, straighter shots, not being steep, not being over the top into the golf ball, it's why I love being in partnership with Swing Tweaks, as they offer a great service to kind of stop that, so hopefully you can also get more control when approaching the green. Swing Tweaks is a super easy app to use and download either on iOS or Android. Even I've benefited from one of their highly qualified coaches having a look through my swing and giving me a completely different feel, drill and feeling from what I've been used to. And if you want to benefit from the same and get your swing basically looked at today, all you need to do is send a video face on, and also down the line with a brief description of your miss. What are you trying to improve in your golf game? Then one of their certified coaches will come back with personalized analysis, drills, a summary of what you need to be working on, therefore giving you a very clear plan on how to improve throughout the rest of the year. If that's something you feel you'll benefit from, use my code SASGolf to get 20% off your first tweak. I'll leave the link in the description. Ironically, even though it doesn't look like it, this is the highest lofted option in my list today. 30 degrees, and for this particular head style, that means launch, that means height. But there's a reason why I've got this very light graphite shaft, and also I've got it in a 6-iron, because for the particular golfer and category I'm putting this for is for the slower golfer. Either a senior golfer that's obviously looking for more distance and more height, or actually a beginner that launches the ball incredibly low and also isn't incredibly fast. Because club head speed determines how many irons you should have in the bag. If you swing your 7-iron under 70 miles an hour, even 75 miles an hour, don't put a 5-iron in the bag. You are wasting money. Put a higher lofted hybrid in there, because that head style is gonna help keep the ball in the air. Same as this head style is gonna help a 6-iron from a slower player also stay in the air. It's one of the reasons why ping is so popular with the general public as well, because of their static loft of the head, as well as their heads being massive. And this 6-iron that I have here, the Callaway HL, swung reasonably slowly. Mind you, that's 83, so that's a touch faster than what I was going for. But look at that carry at 83 miles an hour. They are perfect numbers for this particular speed and that particular angle attack, as well as club path. The slower you are, the harder it is to keep the ball up in the air, regardless of how good your technique is. And even though these are, let's say, game improvement irons, for a lot of you, these would be perfect just because the head design, just because it's going to help keep that ball up in the air. And I appreciate I have pulled that a touch there, but look, 76 miles an hour, 6-iron, 160 carry. That is phenomenal numbers for a club that you can get for around £350 in the second-hand market in 2025. Let's move on to the distance category, and this thing certainly isn't a 7-iron, more like, well, a 5. Especially if we're going off traditional lofts. A traditional loft back in the day, 7-iron, 36 degrees. Nowadays, a blade, true lofted, is more like 34, to be perfectly honest. This 27 is very de-lofted. Is that bad for a beginner? Not for certain beginners. The downside, and why golfers can easily outgrow these irons so quickly once they sort their technique out, is that it's going to go an incredibly long way. What do we get there? 220 carry. Okay, I appreciate that's gone left again. That is going to be long, 100 miles an hour, 216 carry. About my 5-iron distance, that. My point is, for me, I would want more backspin from a truer lofted iron from this distance. I don't need my 7-iron to go that distance. And the downside of flirting this very low spin at my club head speed is that, as I showed, if I pull it left, I mean, that's going to go so far offline. Backspin helps you with those offline shots, softens the blow. However, for a lot of you beginners, even you moderately fast players, you need forgiveness, which this head style definitely gives. And actually the de-loftedness, the bit that kind of hurt me with producing too low a spin, some of you spin it too much. Having a truer lofted 7-iron, an old school 7-iron, not as offset as this, would mean that you just spend most of the time hitting the ball up in the air, especially into the wind. And we can manipulate our spin and loft with our technique. So if you do come over the top, open face, cup your wrist at impact, guess what? Bunker shot style, you're going to be adding spin. Therefore, this de-lofted iron is actually going to help you get distance. Imagine what my spin would have been if I didn't have this heavily de-lofted iron. That launch angle is actually appropriate for a 7-iron. Therefore, the de-loftedness and offsetness has actually kind of helped us there. My point is both of those swings were very similar in speed, 5 miles an hour between them, but the spin and launch were completely different. The distance was completely different. The bad shot was completely different. Hence why I mentioned earlier, these clubs are very easy to outgrow. But for the meantime, and I'll show you second-hand prices of these Cobra dart speeds, very good price, very forgiving. They look great, and for around, again, £350, somewhere in that ballpark, if you've got 80 miles an hour club head speed plus, you're looking for more distance, you're looking for more forgiveness. These irons could be a great addition to your bag. Before we move into my last pick, the very affordable pick throughout this whole list, Titleist, Ping, Mizuno do incredibly well in this beginner market and hold their value incredibly well. So I am going to say that if you were thinking of getting club fitted, you just want to get brand new clubs, you want to treat yourself, those three are going to hold their price the best if you were to outgrow them in the future. We'll get onto the second-hand price in a minute, but as I said in the title, panic selling these irons. This is the perfect example. As I've seen online, affordable golf, 5 to pitching wedge in an ultralight shaft, 369. Brand new, warranty. What an outrageous price for a great iron. Lofted half a degree more than the Cobra dart speed. But again, you can see how much bigger that head is. Very similar to the Callaway AI Smoke HL, and also how much offset there is. If I could fit for this iron in this category, let's say the forgiving, high launching, let's say beginner iron, at that kind of price tag, I wouldn't even bother with secondhand clubs. I said how good this iron is when it first came out, and I reviewed it from Wilson. And I said at the time, I can't wait to see what secondhand price this thing will go for in a year's time. And lo and behold, I've actually just found out. And the answer is not really that much money. It's powerful, it's forgiving, it's everything that you want from a beginner iron. And looking at the second-hand prices, I've seen these go for around £200, £250. There's so many irons that, let's be honest, go for £200 that are 10 years old. Like, look at these Ping G series. Virtually the same head, same design, same everything else, that go for the same amount of money. This is my all-rounder, low-risk option in 2025 if you're looking to start the game. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching this video. Thank you to the sponsor of this video, Swing Tweaks. Link in description to download that app and improve your golf swing today. And I'll catch you in the next one.